What if I told you the clouds once followed a man wherever he walked? That trees bowed before him, and even the moon split at his command. Stay till the end, because what you're about to hear are real miracles that most people have never heard about. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe and follow, so you never miss stories that awaken your heart and strengthen your faith. 1. The cloud that followed him. From the time he was a child, the world seemed to protect him. When the desert sun burned over Arabia, a small cloud would move with him, shading him wherever he went. A Christian monk named Bahira saw this miracle on a journey to Syria. He said to Abu Talib, the Prophet's uncle, "This child is not like the others. A cloud follows him wherever he goes. He will be a messenger chosen by God." Even the sky recognized him before revelation began. 2. The tree that bowed. Years later, on another journey, he rested under a lonely tree. But the tree, by the command of God, bent its branches to cover him in shade. Witnesses saw it and said, "Everything around him bows, even the trees." 3. The stones that spoke. Before the message began, he once said to his companions, "I know a stone in Makkah that used to greet me before revelation." A stone greeting a man because even lifeless things recognized his truth when living hearts had not yet awakened. 4. The water that flowed from his fingers. During a battle, his companions ran out of water. They came to him, and he placed his blessed hand inside a small pot. Then water gushed from between his fingers like springs in the desert. Over 300 companions drank, made ablution, and filled their containers from that one miracle. When faith walks with the messenger, nothing runs dry. 5. The camel that cried. One day he entered a garden and saw a camel groaning in pain. It came close, placed its head near his chest, and wept. The Prophet gently stroked it and said, "Who owns this camel? Fear God, for it has complained to me that you overwork it." Even animals sought comfort in his mercy, because he was sent as a mercy to every creature, not just mankind. 6. His body was pure light. He was unlike any human in purity. He had no shadow, and his sweat smelled sweeter than musk. His companions collected his sweat and mixed it with perfume. Even his clothes carried fragrance long after he took them off. This wasn't a story of myth, it was light made human. 7. The splitting of the moon. When his enemies demanded a sign, he pointed to the sky. And by God's permission, the moon split in two. Both halves stood visible over Mount Hira, then joined again. Even travelers from India testified they saw it that same night. It wasn't illusion, it was truth, witnessed across nations. 8. The trunk that cried. In the mosque, he once gave sermons leaning on a date palm trunk. When a new pulpit was built, he stepped away. And suddenly, a deep sound filled the air. It was crying like a child weeping. The Prophet walked to it, embraced it, and the sound faded. He said, "It wept because it missed hearing the remembrance of God beside me." Even wood felt his absence. 9. His heart never slept. When he slept, his eyes rested, but his heart remained awake. That's why revelation reached him even in dreams. His connection with God was constant, unbroken, eternal. 10. His light existed before creation. He said, "I was a prophet while Adam was still between soul and body." His light, the light of Muhammad, was the first creation of God. From that light, all prophets and believers were formed. Every messenger knew his rank and wished to be part of his nation. 11. His special prayer for us. Every prophet was given one guaranteed prayer, a wish that would be instantly answered. But Prophet Muhammad saved his prayer for the day of judgment, for the forgiveness of his followers. While others used theirs in this world, he saved his for you and me. That is what true mercy looks like. 12. His mention in earlier scriptures. Long before his birth, both the Torah and the Gospel described a coming prophet, called Ahmad, meaning the most praised. His followers would pray, purify themselves, and live humbly. That's why scholars like Bahira and Waraka ibn Nawfal said, "This is the awaited messenger." 13. The night journey and ascension. In one night, he traveled from Makkah to Jerusalem, and from there ascended through the heavens. He met the prophets, saw paradise and hell, and stood before God without any barrier. It was there that he received the command for the 5 daily prayers. No human ever reached such nearness, and none ever will. 14. The first to rise on Judgment Day. When the trumpet is blown, he will be the first to rise from the grave, carrying the banner of praise. All prophets will gather beneath it, and he will intercede for his people, not for power or glory, but for mercy. 15. Even his enemies knew his truth. Even those who fought him could not deny his honesty. Abu Jahl once said privately, "We do not call you a liar, Muhammad. We only reject what you brought." They knew the truth, but arrogance blinded them. 16. The lion that recognized him. A companion was once captured and tied to a tree in the desert. As night fell, a lion approached. Fearing for his life, he said, "O lion, I am a messenger of God." The lion stopped, lowered its head, and guarded him until dawn. When he returned to the prophet, he smiled and said, "God can make his creatures serve his believers." 17. The dead that spoke. There were moments when the unseen became visible. Once he called upon a man buried in a grave, and the man answered. Another time, he prayed for a mother whose son had died. And by God's will, the boy spoke briefly before returning to the afterlife. Even life and death obeyed the will of his Lord. 18. The blessed scent that never faded. His companions said, "When the messenger of God passed by, we would know, because the air was filled with fragrance. His sweat was purer than musk." And even years after his passing, some companions still smelled it in dreams, as if God allowed his light to touch their hearts again. 19. The well that overflowed. During a journey, the companions found a dry well. The prophet rinsed his mouth and poured the water inside. Suddenly, it surged and overflowed, clear and sweet, as if the earth itself was eager to serve him. 20. The rain that obeyed his prayer. Once the people of Medina begged him to pray for rain. He raised his hands, and clouds gathered instantly. Rain poured for days until they begged him to stop. He said, "O God, around us, not upon us." And the clouds moved, raining everywhere except directly above them. Even the sky obeyed him. The life of the prophet, peace be upon him, was not just history. It was the language of miracles written into creation itself. Because the greatest miracle wasn't the moon that split, nor the water that flowed from his fingers. It was the mercy that flowed from his heart. One man changed the world, and his light still guides billions today. When you hear his name, don't just say, "Peace be upon him." Feel it, because every blessing you hold, and every path that leads you to faith, came through him. Muhammad, the messenger of God, the mercy to all the worlds.